Today we're tackling something that might be completely new to you, the Canadian credit system. If you're from a country where credit cards aren't common, this episode is especially for you. Let's demystify credit and help you build a strong financial foundation in Canada. The sponsor for this amazing series is LemFi. Let me tell you a little bit about them. You know that stress when you need to send money to family and you're stuck comparing different apps, dealing with crazy fees, and wondering when the money will actually arrive? Yeah, I've been there too. That's why I'm excited to put you on to LemFi. It's a money transfer app that's literally made for us. Whether you need to send money to Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, or any of 7 African countries, they've got you. When you use my referral code xoReni, you'll get $10 cash when you send $100 or more for the first time. And if you're in the US or UK, you can send money too. Use the link in my bio to sign up. Now let's get back into the video. Let's talk about what credit is. If I use the Oxford Dictionary definition, credit is the ability of a customer to obtain goods or services before payment based on the trust that payment will be made in the future. So now what is a credit score? A credit score is like a financial report card, or you can think of it like a trust score with financial institutions. When you borrow money from somebody and you pay it back as agreed, you build more and more trust with them. And this trust is measured by your credit score. And it allows anybody who wants to loan money to you to see if you've been trustworthy in the past. So in Canada, I would say credit is a way of life, and that means that having a good credit score is crucial. And when I say credit is a way of life, what I mean is that most things here can be given to you on a credit basis. You get it now and you pay for it later. Credit cards are a perfect example. Unlike debit cards that you use your own money, credit cards allow you to borrow money for purchases, then pay it back within a grace period, and then build your credit worthiness over time. I know when people come to Canada, they have this belief that credit cards are an inherently bad thing. I disagree with that. It's just that if you're using credit cards incorrectly, then they can do a lot more harm than good. Some other types of credit that you can expect to see here in Canada include utilities. So in many countries, if you need electricity for your house, you will load your electricity meter or your bill, and then once you have used it, you would reload it. That's how it works in most countries. In Canada, on the other hand, you use your electricity, your gas, your water, etc., and then you pay it back later. The same thing happens with your phone bill. You use it now and then you pay for it later. This is helpful for most people, especially for cash flow purposes. But if you overuse your credit and then you can't pay it back on time, this is where the issue comes. Because remember, when it comes to credit, these institutions aren't just giving you money for free and out of the kindness of their heart. They are loaning it to you, and if you pay it back past the due date, they're gonna add interest onto your payment. This is basically a penalty for owing money, and although it seems like it's small, it can add up pretty quickly. So now let me tell you about one of the main types of credit that you are going to face in Canada. Credit cards. In Canada, there are a lot of different types of credit card. The first one is a secured card. A secured card is perfect for newcomers, and basically you will put a security deposit there. So you'll put a $500, $1,000, and then you can spend on that card. It's kind of like a debit card, but it helps you to build your credit. The next type of credit card that you can see is a student card. So this is designed for students. They have typically lower interest rate and some student perks that come along with it. The next type of card is a rewards card, and this helps you earn points, get cash back, or travel miles. And the last type of card that you will see is a store card. This is a card that's specific to a certain retailer. For example, you can have a PC Optimum card, which will allow you to shop at Loblaws, Shoppers Drug Mart, No Frills, or you could have a Hudson's Bay credit card, which will allow you to shop at Hudson Bay and get some rewards there. When you first come to Canada, you should definitely get a credit card. You should get your first credit card, but because you have no credit history, most lenders don't really want to lend to you yet. So the easiest way to get your first card is by going to a bank and asking for a secured credit card, as I mentioned earlier. This will help you build trust, and it's pretty much risk-free for the bank, so they are more than willing to help you. I suggest most people start with this card because it allows you to build the habit of buying items and repaying your credit card without getting into debt. Now, once you've mastered this, you can go on to store cards or rewards cards, or even your bank may just say, okay, you're ready for a real credit card. Here are some of the key terms I think you should know if you're going to get your first credit card. First thing, credit limit. Credit limit is the maximum amount that you can borrow. This could be $500, $1,000. I have a credit card with a $15,000 credit limit, and that is the maximum amounts that I can borrow. But it's not free money, it's just the amounts that I can borrow from the institution. The second term is minimum payment. So the minimum payment is the smallest amount that I must pay monthly. So let's think of, let's say I have $1,000 credit limit and I have used all $1,000. They will say that I can pay them just $10 as my minimum payment. While that sounds amazing, sounds like, oh, I don't have to pay that much, it's kind of a trap. So I would say the minimum payment, you'll see it on your statement. That's the smallest amount that you must pay, but you should always try to pay the full amount back. The third term that you'll see is interest rate. Interest rate is the amounts that you can expect to pay in penalties if you carry a balance. When I say carry a balance, I mean that if you don't pay your bill off in full every single month, they will start charging you interest on that. So usually in Canada, it's around 19.99% that you can expect to pay. So credit cards are very high. So this interest rate, ideally, pay off your entire credit card every single month so you don't even have to worry about paying interest. The fourth term that I think you should know is annual fee. So some cards in Canada are free, whereas some have an annual fee. The annual fee is a yearly cost for having that card. Some cards will cost you $100 for the year, while some cards will cost you $500 for the year. So there are levels to cards. I would say start with a zero fee card, no payment necessary to have the card itself. Okay, so now that you understand credit a little bit, here are some of the things that you'll need before you apply for a credit card. First thing is government ID. So you need your passport, a driver's license, something to identify you. The second thing, you'll need proof of income for most cards. Typically, they want to see that you're actually making income so they know that you will be able to pay off your card regularly. This could be a pay stub or something that proves that you're making income. The third thing is your Canadian address. So they typically will not open a credit card for you unless you live here in Canada. So you need a bank statement, a utility bill, something that shows that you live in Canada. The last thing that you need is your social insurance number. So they're going to run your SIN number. Just make sure you have that before you go and open your credit card. In the next video, I'm going to share how you can build your credit score, but here are a few tips that I would share so that credit cards don't seem overwhelming for you. First tip, only spend what you have available to pay in cash. Use your credit card like it's a debit card. If you want to buy a $1,000 item and your card has a $1,000 limit available, that does not mean you can afford it. You can only afford to pay for that item if you have $1,000 in cash to pay your credit card off by the due date, okay? If you don't have the money, you should not be buying it or putting it on your credit card. A credit card is not free money. It is debt, okay? Tip number 2 would be to pay your card off on time and in full every single month. So try not to get into that habit of just paying off your minimum balance. Try to pay off the full balance that is on your statements every single month. The third tip that I'll give you is to learn how to use credit cards before you start trying to optimize for points and rewards. I know I see a lot of people who are using credit cards and they are trying to get the most travel points or trying to get cash back, etc., etc. While those perks are great, if you aren't using your credit card correctly and paying it off in full every month, you're basically wasting your time because the interest is negating all of the rewards that you're getting from the card. Just remember that building good credit takes time, but it is worth it. And I didn't really mention what a good credit score can do for you. In Canada, a good credit score can help you rent an apartment more easily. It can help you get better interest rates on loans, and it can help you save on insurance as well. And even some jobs will require you to look at your credit before they even give you a job. So it's really important that you get good with your credit score. In the next video, I'm gonna go through step by step how you can build your credit score and get that 850 score so that you don't make some mistakes when getting your first credit card. If you have any questions about credit in Canada, drop them down below in the comments. I'll make sure to answer them. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and check out LemFi for all your money transfer needs. I'll see you next week in the next video. Bye.